one and the same process becomes visible along three axes: physics, chemistry, biology. Let us begin with the smallest functioning unit and allow the pattern to change scale without rupture. At the membrane of the cell, a physical potential difference exists. Charges organize on both sides and an electric field emerges. This tension is not background noise. It drives the movement of ions. On the chemical level, the same phenomenon appears as a concentration gradient. Sodium, potassium, and calcium are present in different proportions inside and outside the cell. The system is far from equilibrium, and this distance is precisely what makes it functional. On the biological level, this becomes signal transmission. Ion flow generates an action potential, which constitutes information for the neuron. The same pattern appears on the planetary scale. Between Earth's surface and the atmosphere, physical differences in temperature and pressure exist. The sun heats the surface unevenly. Chemically, this leads to uneven distributions of gases and water, humidity, carbon dioxide, ozone. Concentration differences arise in space. Biologically, these differences become conditions for life. Winds, precipitation, photosynthesis, respiration. The biosphere is built upon this gradient. On the galactic scale, the Milky Way displays the same principle. Physically, gravitational potential differences compress matter. Chemically, in astrochemistry, molecules, dust, and gas accumulate in dense regions. In biological analogy, this creates the conditions for star information. Where density exists, the process begins. Let us now examine the same chain in direct sequence. Physics gradient, voltage, heat, gravitation. Chemistry, material flow. Diffusion, reaction, bonding. Biology, regulated function, signal, metabolism, homeostasis. In the cell, a proton gradient drives ATP production. On the planet, a temperature gradient drives atmosphere and oceans. In the galaxy, a gravitational gradient drives the condensation of matter. In the cell, this is a phenomenon of life. On the planet, it is climate and biosphere. In the galaxy, it is star information. The law is identical. Far from equilibrium, flow, organization, regulation. Biology is not an exception to physics and chemistry, but their higher order, self-regulating manifestation. Cell membrane, atmosphere, and interstellar space are different scales of the same functional principle. Let us preserve this continuous pattern and change only the scale. After the physics, chemistry, biology, we now move to sociology, economics, with the same organizing principle. In the cell, the membrane is the boundary, where the gradient forms. On the planet, the atmosphere serves this role. In society, the boundary is rule and norm. Who may do what? Who may achieve what? Thus, a social potential difference emerges. Physical analogy, potential difference. Chemical analogy, concentration difference. Biological analogy, signal transmission. Sociological counterpart, status difference. Economic counterpart, research difference. Where difference exists, flow begins. In the cell, ions flow. On the planet, air and water flow. In society, information flows. In the economy, capital and goods flow. This is not metaphor, but an organizational law. Without gradient, no movement. In the cell, ion flow becomes a neural signal. In society, information flow becomes communication. In the economy, commodity flow becomes trade. When many similarly functioning cells cooperate, tissue emerges. When many people with similar roles cooperate, an institute emerges. When institutes cooperate, a system emerges. In the body, heart, lungs, and liver maintain balance. In society, education, healthcare, and administration do the same. In the economy, production, distribution, and consumption sustain flow. This is the social analogy of homeostasis. Stability through continuous correction. If ionic balance is disrupted in the cell, dysfunction arises. If thermal balance is disrupted on the planet, climate change emerges. If research balance is disrupted in society, tension arises. If flow is distorted in the economy, crisis emerges. Regulation occurs at all levels through feedbacks. The cell sends, responds. The planet responds through climate. Society creates laws and norms. The economy regulates through prices, interest, and incentives. Here, unity becomes especially clear. Cell is exchange of matter and energy and information. Like planet is exchange of matter, energy and information. Society, exchange of people, resources and information. Economy, exchange of goods, capital and information. The same organizational law, a different career. The cell membrane corresponds to social norms. Ion flow corresponds to information flow. ATP corresponds to economy value, that which enables work. The nervous system corresponds to communication networks. Hormonal regulation corresponds to long-term economic policy. Just as the body is not a heap of parts but coherent function, so society and economy are not collection of actors but systems of flows driven by gradients and established by feedbacks. Now, the flow turns inward. The law remains the same: gradient, flow, regulation, balance. But the carrier is the inner world of experience. A stimulus reaches the sensory organs. Physically, photon, sound wave, pressure or molecule. Chemically, receptor binding, opening of ion channels. Biologically, a neural signal emerges. The first major integration station is the amygdala and the limbic system. Here, rapid evaluation occurs: danger, opportunity, or neutral. No thinking, pattern recognition. If the stimulus is significant, the signal is forwarded to the hypothalamus. Here, the nervous and hormonal system couple. The HPA axis is activated. Hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. Physics, electrical signal in the nerve. Chemistry, neurotransmitter release at the synapse. Biology, hormone release into the bloodstream. The adrenal glands release adrenaline and cortisol. Heart rate increases. Blood glucose rises. Pupils dilate. The body mobilizes energy. This is the bodily side of emotion. In parallel, the cerebral cortex, especially the prefrontal cortex, interprets more slowly, but more precisely. Here, psychological meaning arises. What is happening to me? Hormones here are not feelings, but state regulators. Dopamine creates a motivational gradient approach. Serotonin stabilizes balance. Oxytocin support bonding, connection. Cortisol established readiness, protection. The psyche is the conscious map of these states. Of the gradient is large and abrupt, fear and anger. If it is subtle and sustained, mood. If regulation is flexible, psychological balance. If regulation is blocked, anxiety, disorders, depression, exhaustion. The same pattern as in cell and planet. Difference, flow, response, feedback. The autonomic nervous system is the primary regulator. Sympathetic, activating, and parasympathetic, calming. Like day and night on the planet, like charge and discharge at the membrane. Emotion, therefore, is not something mystical, but rapid biological evolution that comes a hormonal state and is experienced psychologically as meaning. The psyche is the space in which physics, electrical signal, chemistry, neurotransmitter, hormones, and biology, bodily response are organized into subjective experience. And here the circle closes. Just as the cell responds to its environment, just as the planet responds to solar radiation, so the human being responds to life situation with emotion.